Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Taylor Long, and I'm the Associate Planner here at the Town of Normal. What we're meeting to discuss tonight is the Community Development Block Grant Program's year-end report. So that's the draft program year 2019-2020 CAPER, also known as the Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report. So CAPER is a whole lot easier to say, so that's how we'll be referring to it here throughout the evening and a little presentation I have prepared now. So, of course, we're meeting virtually now, and that's in response to the effects of COVID-19 and the needs for everyone to social distance and take care of each other. So this is a virtual meeting. Routinely, these are held at the Normal Public Library, but in this case, we're adjusting and handling this virtually. So this evening's public hearing will run from 5:30 to 6:30. And so what we'll do is I'll start off here shortly with a presentation. That'll run about 10-15 minutes, very likely. And then after that, I'm going to flash up a screen that just gives you instructions on how to join the meeting. And at this time, no one is pre-registered to speak. But at any point during this 5:30 to 6:30 period, if you happen to see this on YouTube, it's streaming there now live. If you happen to see it, you can contact me either by emailing me at tlong@normal.org or calling me at 309-212-6881. So you just get a hold of me. I'll give you the login or call-in information for this Zoom meeting, and we'll be able to discuss the consolidated plan, the CAPER for this previous year. With that, I'm going to go ahead now and just share my screen. At any point, if you happen to see this on YouTube and you want to join, as I said, contact me. I'll admit you, and I'll start over a bit, and we can discuss this previous year's year-end report. So with that, as I said, I'm going to share my screen here. And so, as I said, I just have a short presentation, well, relatively short presentation here prepared for everyone. So, again, this is the public hearing for the Town of Normal Community Development Block Grant Program's annual Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report for this previous program year. Just some background, I want to start with that for everybody. The Town of Normal receives Community Development Block Grant funds from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD, and I'll also be referring to these funds as CDBG, likely for the rest of the evening now. Municipalities that receive these funds are called entitlement communities by HUD, referred to them that way, and they must submit a 5-year and annual action plan for the use of CDBG funds. So each one of these goes through a pretty robust public participation process, and then they're then submitted to in our case, the Normal Town Council for review and approval, and then submitted to HUD. And so these 5-year and annual action plans outline all the different goals and activities and hopeful outcomes that a municipality would like to use for these funds, which, of course, the principal use for these funds is to benefit low to moderate income citizens and areas of a community. So additionally, just as there's a 5-year and a individual year plan, there's also a end of year plan or an end of year report that is submitted to HUD, and that's known as the CAPER, what we're here to discuss this evening. So that's crafted and submitted by each municipality that receives CDBG and then submitted to HUD. And CAPER again stands for Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report. With that, then, the previous year, or the one we're discussing tonight, the CAPER, pertains to program year 2019-2020, which covered the period of April 1st, 2019 through March 31st, 2020. This previous program year, the one that just wrapped up, was the 5th and final of the town's 5-year plan, which is referred to as a consolidated plan by HUD and the federal government. And that one was the 2015-2019 consolidated plan. For those of you that keep up with the town's community development block grant program, you'll know that we just approved, the Normal Town Council just approved a revised 5-year plan, a new one that covers periods 2020 through 2024. But this CAPER is the final, it's the year-end report for the final of the 5 years that the previous consolidated plan pertained to. So this year-end report accounts for progress made toward meeting annual and 5-year goals, and then reports the actual outcomes. And it also shows the town's efforts to comply with and meet other federal requirements as relates to fair housing and affordability of housing. And so down here in the corner of this screen, if you're seeing this on YouTube or maybe as a PDF on the town's website, if you click on this, it'll take you straight to the PDF, the town's website. Review that plan. As far as CDBG reports go, it's a relatively short one. It's only 25 pages. So take that in, and as I said, contact me anytime tonight or anytime during this 15-day comment period we have out for this report. And I'll give you some more details about that a little later on here. So I'd just like to, probably the best place to start, or the most important thing people might want to know, is what took place this previous year. And so I have a few slides here that just break down the different activities that took place in program year 2019-2020. To lead off things, just want to make everyone aware that the total amount of funding, CDBG funding, that was spent this previous year was $345,000 rather, and 38 additional dollars. So that's that larger sum is broken into a bunch of different programs and activities that the town has. So one of those is the public services budget within that, within each year's activities. And so that's capped at 15% of annual funds. And so as it relates back to the town's 2015-2019 consolidated plan, any activity you use CDBG money for has to tie back to a goal or priority set in that 5-year plan. And as relates to public services, 5 years ago, the priority was clearly put toward using this money to benefit or assist homeless individuals and youth. So with that said, this previous year, the town again funded its Homeless Outreach Services Program, which is a partnership with CAPER based out of Bloomington. Through that, 38 at risk of being homeless or homeless individuals were assisted with either short-term lodging, short-term case management, or different activities of that nature. And there's more detail in the CAPER if you take a look at that. Additionally, then, as far as public services go, the Unity Community Center on Orlando Avenue received funds, and that is a center that's operated by the University of Illinois Extension, and they host a whole host of different activities that are available to, in their case, almost exclusively extremely low-income children and families. So with the money that the town distributed to the Unity Community Center, 43 children were able to have access to quality after-school education activities, and their families as well. There's a number of different, there's a food bank, for example, that operates out of that center. So it's certainly a neighborhood community center there. Additionally, another program that was funded this previous year, as well as every other of the previous 5, was the town's down payment assistance program. That is a program that offers up to $3,000 in assistance in the form of a forgivable grant to any income qualified, so thereby low or moderate income person who's looking to purchase a home here in Normal. So that can be a home anywhere within the town of Normal. It doesn't have to be within a certain neighborhood or anything of that sort. And so that said, 5 grants were awarded this previous year, totaling $13,500 expended from that program. At the end of the year, then there was $34,500 left in that. And that money was carried over then into this current year, and will likely be spent out. A great amount of those funds have already been spent out this year, but there's also that it's very likely that some money will be carried over, or this will be funded again in upcoming years. This slide here lays out a pretty good example of what was the major priority of the previous 5-year plan, and that was infrastructure improvements in low to moderate income neighborhoods. So as I'll show later on here in this slideshow, the lion's share of funding these previous years went toward infrastructure improvements. So with that said, this past year, 2019-2020, 2 streets were resurfaced, and the locations are noted on this slide here. Additionally, 20 different sidewalk and or ADA ramp or accessibility ramps at intersections were improved. And one public sanitary sewer line was lined and repaired that benefited an entire neighborhood. So I would back up and say here that a caveat to any time CDBG funds is used to improve infrastructure or public facilities, it has to be done in an area that is predominantly low to moderate income. And so the way HUD and the town approaches that is that any area of the community that has at least any census tract or block group that is low to moderate income, thereby a majority of the population makes less than 80% of area median income. That's HUD's determinant for low to moderate income, thereby qualifies for assistance with CDBG funds. So anytime you see an infrastructure project listed here or any other future plan or report from the CDBG program, those are only taking place in neighborhoods that are predominantly low to moderate income. With that said, then there was a good amount of money that was carried over this previous year into this current one to be put toward infrastructure improvements. And a lot of that has already been planned and carried out. But at the end of this previous year, we had 194,000 carried over for street resurfacing, roughly 66,000 for sidewalk and ramp improvements, and 23-some thousand for sanitary sewer lining. Additionally, then, program administration is another line of a program year's budget, and that is capped at 20% of your annual funds. The town routinely never uses that much. That much of its CDBG funds for program administration. Those are essentially staff or planning costs. The town has always opted to put as much money as possible toward benefiting toward activities that benefit actual people. So not that planning isn't also necessary sometimes, as the previous year can attest. So a majority of CDBG funds that were used for admin costs went toward consolidated planning. So this previous the backdrop to this previous year's work was the planning, the writing, the crafting, and eventually the approval of the town's new 5-year consolidated plan, the 2020-2024 consolidated plan. And that was a partnership with the City of Bloomington and McLean County Regional Planning Commission, as well as a whole host of other important public service providers and stakeholders here in the community. So $23,000 went toward that effort, as well as other regional housing initiatives that the town partners with regional planning and others to carry out and educate the public on, rather. Additionally, there's some costs that came out of administration that went toward HUD required public notices. So anytime there's a public hearing or public meeting that's held, notice has to be published, and that can be used that can be covered with CDBG funds. Additionally, there was a bit of travel and training and professional membership that was available that town staff decided to take part in, and also some amount of money that goes toward mortgage releases related to the down payment assistance program. And there was rather $12,000 that was carried over into this current program year. Additionally, then, lastly, there was one more bit of carryover funds from a program that just wasn't spent in the 2019-2020 year. So that was from the town's program or property acquisition program, and that's one where the town will look for blighted or abandoned properties in the community and then purchase those, usually with a combination of CDBG and other municipal funds, and donate that property to Habitat for Humanity for the construction of affordable and quality housing here in the community. This previous year, however, a property was not identified for purchase, and so we're carrying this $25,000 over into this current program year. So that's a snapshot of what took place this last year, the 5-year plan. And now I'd just like to quickly go over what took place over these past 5 years. So as relates to public services, again, those priorities were homeless outreach and youth activities. You'll see that 103 at risk of being homeless or homeless persons were assisted through the Homeless Outreach Services partnership with C.A.P.E.R. And the Unity Community Center was able to assist 227 youth with just invaluable after-school activities. Also, the Down Payment Assistance Program awarded 26 grants to income qualified home buyers. And again, that's a house anywhere in Normal and for folks that are income qualified. Early on in the previous 5-year plan, there was a tree removal program that was in place that was funded at $20,000 and was able to help 16 different households in the community remove trees that were either endangering their home or just kind of a blight. Next then, property acquisition program. As I mentioned, this is where the town will purchase and donate a property to Habitat for Humanity. There was one such property in this past 5-year period that was donated to Habitat, and that was purchased at least with the amount of CDBG funds of $23,523. Finally then, and this slide really shows it, that the previous 5-year plan's emphasis was on infrastructure improvements and public facilities. So with that, 5 different sections of roadway were improved over the past 5 years. Again, these infrastructure projects only take place in neighborhoods that are predominantly low to moderate income. Additionally, $115,000 worth of sidewalk and accessibility ramp improvements were made in such neighborhoods. Also, there were 3 sections of sanitary sewer that were lined and improved. In program year 2016, I believe, the Town of Normal partnered with Connect Transit for the building of 12 bus shelters in predominantly low to moderate income neighborhoods. That was to the sum of $150,000. And lastly, the town partnered with the community healthcare clinic in their expansion that included the construction of a dental clinic and and a number of health education classrooms. And just as is the case with the Unity Community Center, the community healthcare clinic deals almost exclusively or predominantly with low to moderate income persons. So that kind of wraps up what took place over the previous years very quickly, and this previous year in particular. With that said, then we're right now. I want to let you know about the period we're in right now for public comment and what you can do. There's 15 days. There's a 15-day public comment period. We're in the middle of it right now. This runs through from September 3rd through September 18th. That's 8 more days of comment that are available after this evening. So with that in mind, then go to the town's website at this link here. If you're looking at this as a PDF on the town's website or on YouTube, you can just click on this link here or type it into your browser and be taken directly to the plan. So you can, as I've said, while this from this evening from 5:30 to 6:30, if you'd like to provide comment, contact me. Otherwise, if you happen to see this tomorrow or in the days coming, you can submit written comments to me through email at tlong@normal.org or put them in the mail to the Town of Normal at 11 Uptown Circle, Normal, Illinois, 61761. And following that, then, following comment, the 2019-2020 CAPER will be submitted to HUD after the September 18th ending to the 15-day public comment period. So with no one on the call right now, I'm just going to go ahead and jump to this slide here. And I'm going to leave this up. This slide here gives you instructions, lets you know that this is the public hearing that's taking place right now on YouTube, and gives you instructions on how to contact me. And again, the way to do that is to email me at tlong, T-L-O-N-G, @normal.org, or call 309-212-6881. You get a hold of me one of those ways, and I'll admit you into the meeting here. We can discuss the plan, and would love to collect any comments, thoughts you might have on activities that have taken place or ones that might even be a part of the town's 5-year plan. If you haven't read that yet, be happy to inform you as to that, or just discuss that plan generally. Anything anyone might have to say about the Community Development Block Grant Program here in Normal. Down here in the lower left-hand corner is a link again to the CAPER. Whether you're seeing this this evening or tomorrow, just click on this, check out the report, and contact me, and be happy to take any comments and hear your thoughts. So with that said, now I'm going to mute myself. I'll be available here on the line, here in the Zoom meeting room until 6:30. Get a hold of me. I'll admit you. We can go over this presentation again, or be happy to hear anything that you have to say. So with that said, I'm going to mute myself and sincerely thank you, and hope to hear from anyone that happens to see this in the coming days. Thank you. Well, hello again, everyone. This is Taylor Long with the Town of Normal. Our 1 hour public hearing from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. this evening is just about to wrap up. So I wanted to thank anybody that happens to be watching this on YouTube or that does in the coming days, and then just encourage you to visit the Town of Normal's website. This link that's down here in the bottom left-hand corner, and please check out the draft 2019-2020 CAPER, the year-end report for the Town of Normal's Community Development Block Grant Program. Check that out and then get in touch with me by either of the means you see here. Email me directly or call me at this number, 309-212-6881, to submit comments on this plan or to just ask questions about the program generally. You can do that at any time between now and September 18th. After that, the 15-day public comment period will end, and this report will be submitted to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for review. So again, I just want to thank you for taking part this evening, listening, and hope to hear from anyone in the coming days. So again, thank you, and take care.